guys, it's Horsey Steph, and today I am back with another Horse Trainer Reacts to Horse Movies, and we are working our way through Useless. So far we haven't seen a lot of interactions with horses. We've just seen her kind of do some chores and be treated like slave labor, so I'm curious to see if we start to actually get into some riding and interaction with horses in this clip. That I'm very excited to see. If you guys could go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more videos, that would help me out a ton. And let's go ahead and jump on in.
My name's Rocky.
Awesome. Well, look, I gotta get back to work.
She's just really not a very friendly kind of person to just have a casual conversation with, is she? That really doesn't help anything for the father's sake, trying to get a relationship with her. She doesn't even want to talk to this random stranger. I get that it's like a little awkward to be like, hey, you must be his daughter, and just kind of like strike up a conversation that way, but she's not very good at small talk. I mean, again, I'm not saying she's mean. She's not rude. She's not very good at small talk.
Got City Girl written all over you.
Absolutely true, though. She doesn't really understand how to efficiently do any of these chores, so she's working twice as hard as she needs to, while also not really getting anything accomplished. It's why when you look at even like basic jobs like stall cleaning jobs, where a lot of people are like, that's not skilled labor, it always says pay depending on experience. If you clean stalls a lot, you can get a stall done pretty quickly. But if you don't know what you're doing, it can take you forever. In college, when we cleaned stalls, there were girls that took 15 to 20 minutes a stall. Most of us could get them done in 4 or 5 minutes tops. And it was so bad that they actually put a time limit on how long you had to do your row of stalls. You had 2.5 hours, and you could not clock more than 2.5 hours doing a row of stalls. And if it took you longer, you just had to do it for free until you could figure out how to be efficient. Because like they were spending so freaking long doing stalls, it was absolutely ridiculous. But again, it is skilled labor. The more you do stalls, the quicker you get really efficient at doing it. And some of these girls were just not efficient because they'd never picked up a pitchfork in their lives.
Just don't tell Janice. She'll swear I put you up to it.
I think he likes her. I think that's why he actually wants to help her out and spend more time with her. But I think it's good for her to accept his offer because he obviously knows what he's doing and knows how to do all these chores efficiently. So if he helps her and kind of shows her the ropes, it's going to make her life a whole lot easier, especially if she's going to be here for 2 months doing all these chores. I'm glad she brought a peace offering of, I think cookies. Those look like cookies. Definitely doesn't make up for her rotten attitude. Even during that peace offering, like, I wouldn't really say she apologized for anything. I wouldn't really say she feels bad for anything she said and how mean she's been, but I'm glad she's at least not coming back to yell at him more, because you can already see he's just resenting her presence, which is not how you want to feel about your wife. Finally, people riding. I was kind of wondering when we'd see any kind of riding, because like this is supposed to be a riding academy, yet I've just seen them do like maintenance and farm chores. Like they're showing off their property and they're not actually doing anything with horses. I expected to see a much busier riding program. I expected to see students coming in and out of the barn. But maybe that's more of like a weekday afternoon thing and weekend thing, and it's during the week. Again, I'm not really sure. They haven't given us a lot of background, but I would have thought this barn would be a lot busier given how many horses they have and the fact that they are a riding academy, not a private barn.
Did you ever compete equestrian?
State champion. 3 years in a row.
Wow, so she does actually ride. I would not have thought she rode at all, especially since they implied that she had absolutely no horse experience, and she never corrected that. So very cool that she is familiar with horses and has ridden quite regularly and competed in, I assume, the 4-H and state stuff. So that should make this whole thing a lot more appealing to her. You know, at least she gets to be around horses and ride and do something she loves. It's not all torture. If you don't ride, I can see how this would be a lot worse. But if you like horses and ride, I mean, it's kind of a vacation, right? It sounds like she has a lot of riding experience, has taken a little break from it, but her mom used to compete quite actively. So definitely there's that equestrian theme running through this family. It's interesting to see both a wife and husband, obviously it's now his ex-wife, that both rode pretty regularly. I feel like you don't see that a whole lot. They're racing back to the barn at the trot. When they said race, I expected them to at least pick up a canter, if not gallop. I wouldn't be surprised if he let her win just to like make it fun, and obviously he rides a lot more regularly than she does. But like, she was trotting, not even fast trotting, like a slow, casual trot. It's crazy. I thought she'd ridden regularly at some point and was like at least good enough to walk, trot, canter. And I mean, she has a horn. You don't have to remember everything. Even if you take a big break from riding, walking and cantering are things you never really forget. Trotting can be a little tricky. Sometimes people forget their post, don't quite get their leg under them, start bouncing around. But I have yet to meet somebody that's taken a big break from riding that wasn't able to get on and at least walk, trot, and canter with some sort of position that they didn't look like they were going to fall off and didn't give me a heart attack doing it.
You could at least look at it.
He's getting frustrated that he's really trying to build a relationship with her and she really doesn't want any part of it. When they were on horseback, it looked like she was at least being a little more open and communicating with him and talking with him. And now that they're in the car, she's just completely silent, doesn't even want to respond to what he's saying. It would be really tough to pursue a relationship like that, but I think he just needs to put a little less pressure on it and just be kind, find fun things that he can do with her, and maybe wait to talk until she's feeling ready to open up more and actually talk with him. Because at the point that he starts like attacking her with questions, it's not going to make things better, even if it comes from a good place.
We have to talk. We have to communicate.
I get his frustration, though. This is literally the most irritating thing I think somebody can do, to just completely ignore your words and tune you out. And you're just trying to get them to respond to anything you say, and they're just sitting there in silence, ignoring you. It literally drives me up the wall. So I get why he's getting frustrated, but I don't think it's doing any favors for their relationship right now.
I remember when you were a little girl, your mom and I, we couldn't get you to say 2 words.
So it sounds like she's always been a bit of a quiet type. So this is probably her default when she's not super comfortable. She's just silent. So at least he knows that from when she was little. So he should be able to be a little more sympathetic towards her kind of lack of communication right now.
I know this is hard on you. I'm going to give you all the time you need.
Good for him. Give her the time she needs to start to feel like she wants to open up and wants to at least have some sort of relationship with him. And whether or not she ever wants that to be an intimate relationship is up to her. I mean, at least over time in these 2 months, we know she can get to, and I'm sure will get to the point where she can at least be friendly and form like a working, living relationship with him. But give her the time. I think that's a mature thing for him to say, and I really think it's going to help her feel more comfortable and not feel like there's this expectation like, oh, it's my dad, I need to be X, Y, and Z, but I don't want to because he abandoned me and I'm angry at him and all of that. So I think that will be great. Also, who drives to a gas store purely to get a hot dog? Like, they're not that good. I would never go to a gas station to get food unless I were like road tripping or trailering horses long distance, because there's so few options of where you can stop with a trailer. Going to a gas station for food in a car is like crazy to me. I mean, stop at a fast food restaurant. That's way, way better quality than gas station. Gas station food is nasty. So nasty. Alright, it looks like her boyfriend has not changed his ways at all, and he's still walking around looking for cars to steal, now in broad daylight. I don't know how this guy's not in juvie yet. I'm sure he's headed there real quick, because he's getting bolder, and stealing cars in kind of like a busy area just seems like a poor choice, and seems like you're asking to get caught. I don't know know much about stealing cars, but it seems like a bad idea. Alright, so it looks like she has taken a special interest in this mare that everyone says is mean and bites people. Doesn't shock me. She seemed intrigued by her from the moment she was mentioned. And it looks like now she's going to actually ride her. I am surprised to see her riding on her own. Again, like, she did say she has experience riding, but until you've really seen somebody ride and evaluate how they've ridden, I wouldn't turn them loose on just like, oh, grab whatever horse you want. But maybe there was more lead up to this than I know. They just haven't shown it. This movie is just kind of going off of, oh, yeah, she rides already. She's pretty good. And she's just going to ride random horses after she does her chores. I imagine this mare is actually quite good under saddle, because why else would they have her in their lesson program, especially if she is, you know, aggressive and bites people. I imagine she's really easy to ride, and it's just on the ground that you have the issues with her. Otherwise, I just can't see why she would be here. And they've done an excellent job of picking a cranky looking mare to use for this movie. I guess I kind of just brushed over the fact that the mare is playing this part perfectly well. She's obviously a mare that does actually do this in real life. And I don't think you can really train a horse to act this way. So the fact that she's just perfectly playing this role, they've really found the perfect horse to do this. I think that would be very tricky to find. It's not overly common to find a mare that's just a little kind of like, oh, I don't like this, oh, I don't like this, and kind of has that perpetual ear pin. Obviously, my mare does this quite a bit. Is a little bit worse than this, honestly. And my mare has a traumatic past. And it's become a lot of habit for my mare, but definitely comes from some sort of abuse in her past where she learned to really dislike and distrust people. This mare, I have no idea what her story is. I would suspect a lot of horses that do act like this, it's more that they have general pain and discomfort, and people are asking them to just push through that pain, and it makes them kind of crabby and like, oh, I don't like anything because I'm constantly feeling terrible. Ulcers can definitely cause this, back pain, any kind of like long-term pain that really affects their way of going. And generally this kind of horse will also be cranky and grumpy under saddle, potentially a little more likely to buck and stuff like that, because it generally does come from just discomfort. That wasn't a very graceful mounting considering that she says she rides. And I have no idea what just happened. I mean, they cut to the front and the horse kind of whinnied, which horses don't do, and just threw her head up. I didn't even see her feet move, and now Taylor has fallen off the side. So I assume that they're trying to portray the mare reared. They didn't do a good job of that, though. I was so impressed with picking this horse as the actor for this part, and then they completely botched a simple rear, which is a very easy thing to show. Very easy.
Not today, Jasmine. We're not doing this today.
Alright, so after she falls off, she gets angry and is like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this. It's gonna happen. We're not gonna have any of these troubles. I'm just gonna try again and make it work. And I don't think that's a terribly good approach, especially in this situation where we just don't know the history on this mare a lot. We don't know her background in riding. I don't have a lot of confidence she's a very good rider, even though in theory she has experience. I don't think this is gonna go well for her, really. But I could be wrong. Could be surprised. Again, they are not showing this throwing off well at all. They're just showing her getting on kind of clunkily, the mare kind of going around with her head a little, pinning those ears, which I'm sure this mare does regularly. And then all of a sudden, Taylor is pitching herself off the side. I don't think it would be very hard to at least show the front end of the horse doing something or the back end of the horse doing something. Even if you don't want to film anything with the rider on, you could teach this horse or a horse that looks similar to do a little rear or do a kick out and buck, something, and just film that little segment of their body to kind of show why Taylor's falling off. Because right now, I'm really getting from this that Taylor is pitching herself off the side and just tossing herself off the horse. It's absolutely what it looks like, at least.
Like it or not, get with the program.
Alright, so it sounds like Janice, the wife, wants to get rid of her because she's not cooperating. Probably she's not useful in the lesson program. That makes more sense. And honestly, I would support that decision. You can probably find a home that can work with this mare, understand her a little bit better, put a lot of time into her, and make her a lot happier. Because right now she doesn't look happy. She doesn't look like she's enjoying anything about this life. So I'm not saying pass off your problems to other people, but a lesson program is not the place for a horse with issues. And this one is generally angry, uncomfortable, doesn't like being ridden, etc. So if you don't have the time and energy to put into fixing that, by all means, find somebody else who wants to take her on as a project and help work through these issues and make her happy again. But of course, that pep talk seems to have worked, and now the mare is totally fine with her riding. And already just from this picture, you can see that Taylor is not very experienced riding. She's sitting like she is extremely uncomfortable. Her stirrups are a totally inappropriate length for this saddle. I'm not even sure the saddle is the right size for her, but with her stirrups so long, it's impossible to tell. She has like Western stirrups and an English saddle. This is some sort of jump saddle. And she's like pitching forward with her leg out in front of her. I can't imagine her trotting like this, so I'm curious if we see more than walking. And even the way she's holding her hands, or she's just like kind of bracing them up, you can tell she's not relaxed and comfortable in the saddle. And that's just the actor riding with like a lot of tension and unease. I don't know if the actor herself isn't a very good rider or she's trying to portray that Taylor isn't a very good rider, but it doesn't match up with them saying, oh, but she was state champion a while ago. Like, you don't forget basic things like being relaxed walking on a horse. That is just there. Although I suppose maybe she fell off a couple times and that might be why she's upset. I don't think she was supposed to get on this horse, and Janice was immediately upset about it, and the dad was like, wow, she's so special. I can see it from both points of view. I don't think she was given permission to do it, and just getting on horses that you're not told you're allowed to get on would be a huge problem for me. But the fact that this mare throws people off and she was able to get on and ride her, like, I can see how that could be impressive. Now, obviously, she didn't do any actual work to be able to ride her. She just kept getting on when she got thrown off. So I don't think she was really that special. She just was persistent, wanted it bad enough. Well, apparently Taylor knows how to ride. I mean, I never would have expected that. And she's seeking out riding, so it's clearly something she enjoys and missed during her break from it, since she wanted to ride Jasmine, that gray horse that is apparently bad to ride. Definitely not as much activity at the barn as I would have thought in terms of like horses being out, lessons being taught. So I'm curious if that will show up more later, if it's just like this is an off day or it's in the middle of the day and people show up later or what. But I would expect for a riding academy to see just a lot more riding. And there are tons of horses there, so you would think they would be getting used regularly. Otherwise, you're just dumping money down the drain feeding them, right? But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that segment of this movie. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. As always, all the segments to this movie will be linked in the description box down below, so you can go through the entire movie with me. And more reactions to movies come out every Thursday and Saturday at 5 p.m., so make sure you don't miss them. I hope you guys have a wonderful, amazing rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye!